Hello guys, my name is Comet from Unity Expert, and today we're going to be showing you how to create a professional Discord server that has everything you need to be able to run whatever you want to run on it, whether it's for your brand, for your content, if you're a content creator, or if you're just a company, a game development company, whatever it is, we'll show you exactly what you need to do. So first things first, we actually have to create the server itself. So we're going to add a server, go this plus button right here. We're going to local community, for a club or a community. Then you can just name it whatever you want. We're just going to do fish business, and then we're going to create. As you can see, it creates a few channels for us, but first off, we're going to change a few things in the settings. So we're going to go to server settings. We're going to go down to engagement. We're going to turn these off for now. Later on, we're going to do something with these, and we're going to change this to only admissions. This is very important, as we've seen a lot of servers that have this enabled, which causes members of the server to get notifications for every single message that gets sent in the server, which is very, very annoying and gets very tedious, and we see a lot of people just leave the server because of it. So we're going to do that, save the changes. We can keep these channels if you want, but we're going to be changing a few of these. So next off, we're going to go into roles, go to default permissions, and then clear them. This is because there's a very specific and really good way to set up a server, and clearing these permissions will cause every new role we create to not have them as well, which is perfect because every role should have very specific permissions. So we're going to create our member role, go to display, member, and then we're going to create our moderator and admins, or admin for now. Move these up. Okay, so we're going to have the display role members separately from online members, just so people can actually see what admins and moderators there are that are online. We're going to go into members first. We're going to go to permissions. We enable view channels, scroll down, change nickname if that's something you'd like. This is optional. We're going to go down, send messages. If you want people to be able to create threads, we'll show you how to do that later, but we don't suggest to put that in the roles here. We're going to add these ones also later, add reactions, read message history, connect, speak, use voice activity. This is also optional, set voice channel status. That's basically it. For moderator, we're going to enable view audit log, manage nicknames, ban, timeout, kick, approve, reject. We're gonna see about adding manage messages, manage threads, and move members, deafen, mute, use application commands, and manage events if you have, and create if you have events that you'd like to make. Admin should have manage channels, manage roles, manage expressions, manage webhooks, manage surfer. Actually, no, webhooks you can keep off. You don't need this. And anything else that says manage, these are given by the mod role, so you don't have to enable them. Manage events also, yeah. This, we usually wouldn't suggest to provide to admins. The only person that should have this role or this permission is the owner, which is already given to us even if we don't have a role tied to it. So if you create a new server, this is automatically given to you and you can do whatever you want. Now we made our roles. Obviously you can add colors to them, either like this or through these. But for now, we're just going to keep it default, save, and then boom. Now we're going to go to our channels. We suggest to use categories, and this is where I'm going to start explaining permissions to you. Permissions work very directly on Discord. So if your permission is, if a role's permission is set to as the slash, then it will take whatever the permission is in the roles. So for example, if I have this as a slash for view channel, and in the actual role settings here, I have it as disabled, then people cannot see the server and or see the channel. And that can be verified if I do this. As you can see, I'm viewing the server as everyone and they can't see. However, if I set this for @everyone to be a slash, and then I go back here and set the @everyone to be able to see channels, and then view it again, oops, and then view it again through @everyone, they will see all the channels because it's set as a slash for every single channel here. So it automatically goes to the roles hierarchy, checks it, and if it's enabled, then they can see it. So it's a bit confusing to get the hang of, but it becomes a lot easier to organize your permissions and make sure that nothing collides with the other. So we're gonna start with the information category. You can name this anything you want: information, important, etc. We're gonna set the members to be able to see the channel, and then we're gonna set the admin to be able to see and send messages. And then once you do that, you can come into every channel and then sync it. Now these should be automatically synced, which means that whatever you do to the category will be automatically applied to the channels under the category, except if you move something into it and then you see it keep current permissions. Once you do that, then it will say that it's not synced, and then you can sync it again. So we're just going to move that back down here. So all of these now should have that if you are a member, you can see them, but you can't you can send messages. Oh yeah, because members, if you remember, has the send messages. So there you go. It was confusing even for me. So since the members have send messages and it's set to as a slash, then they can send messages in the channel. So what we have to do is we have to go into the category, member, and then send messages is off. So now if we check again, now we'll see that they can't send messages. You don't have permission, but they can still send messages in these, which works perfectly. Now we'll have these, which works completely fine already, but some servers have media channels, so we'll do that. Create channel. And then we're going to go into here, add member, and then we can go down here and then attach files, embed links. That's basically it. So as you can see, now here they can just upload a file here, but here they can't upload any files. The applications here, these are built in, so you can't really disable them. Now we're going to go to the voice channels. Yeah. Edit category. Here we don't even have to change anything. We don't even have to add anything. So we'll come back to this, but everything should be working since they can see the voice channels and look into them. If you want to remove this little lock thing, if it annoys you, you can just come into here and you can just enable everyone to be able to connect, and then it should remove it. Now you might be thinking, well, if everyone can connect, isn't that kind of bad? Well, no, because they can't even see the channel, which is really great to sometimes remove those locks on the channels, even though it's not really locked to anyone. If you just, say that they can connect to it, but they can't see the channel, then it doesn't really change anything. So now we have this. Next up, we're going to add some other stuff that's very, very necessary. First off, we're going to be enabling our community. Verified email required, scan media calendar from all members. Rules and guidelines, we already have one. Welcome and rules. Community updates, we'll just create one for me. And everything is fine. I agree and I understand. And boom. Now we have community overview, which is really, really important. So now we have this channel, which will keep current permissions, and we'll create a new category called staff category. Make it a private one, and moderator and admins can see it. And then we can move that down here. So this channel will send you updates for Discord or stuff like, oh, there's a raid happening or there's some weird activities going on. So we'll send you something in here. So we're going to go back here. We're going to get the safety. These all three should be enabled. All three should be enabled as well. These ones you should enable. This is an alt account, so I don't have two-factor authentication enabled, but you should have 2FA enabled on your account, and you should enable this for moderator actions. If your mods do not have two-factor authentication enabled on their account, they will not be able to do anything, which is really, really important security wise, since there's a lot of scams on Discord and a lot of people who have no time in their lives and really want to mess with servers and owners. So they try to hack into your moderators' accounts, and if they don't have 2FA enabled, they will get hacked, but they won't be able to do anything to the server. If they do have 2FA enabled, it's going to be a lot harder to hack into it. So this is very important. The audit log is audit log, bans is the bans, community overview, safety notifications channel, moderator only. I'm going to set that to the same channel. You can add a little description for your server, and then we go to onboarding. Onboarding is absolutely the most amazing feature we've ever seen on Discord, personally. It's basically that little startup that you see whenever you join a server, and it basically, like, there's like questions you can ask and answer questions in there, which is absolutely great. So let's do the steps. Step 1, let's confirm your safety setup. We already have everything enabled except automod, which we'll get into later. Next, what channels should every member have? Now this is where things get a little bit dicey, because we set it that no one can see these channels, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go back, have everyone see the channels. This one, everyone can send messages in them as well. We're going to go back to onboarding. And now everything should be locked. Oh, except that one, because that one isn't synced. That's right. Boom. And then boom. Onboarding. So yeah, all of them should be fine. We have 4 chattable, 5 channel. Okay, so we'll just create a new one like fish sales. These ones as well. View. Yep. We go back to onboarding. Now everything should be fine. Oh, Discord's bugging. Well, we can fix that later. So now we have 5 chattable and 8 total channels, which is great. You need to meet these requirements. I'm going to go next. Ask questions to help members pick additional channels and roles. Now you can do whatever you want here. But the last question should be, click below to join. And then you add here, it's like click me, for example, right? And then we're going to enter a role, and then we're going to add the member role and then save. So now, whenever you want to add a question, you just move it on top, like so, and ask a question, and then they can, you know, get like what off-topic channels do you want, what notifications do you want, which is great. And the last question should be this, which isn't really a question, but they'll click on it and they'll get the member role, and make sure it's required, because otherwise people can join without having the member role. After that, set up your server guide. You don't have to do this. Actually, this part you have to do. So for example, we can see chat with fellow members, and then they can go to general, and then member sends a message in the channel. And then we can do something like show us a fish you have. And then they can do that in media, and member sends a message in the channel. And we can go, that's it. 3, read the rules, chat with fellow members, show us a fish you have. You must have a welcome message, yes. Set up a welcome sign. You can select who shows up that's saying the message to the person. Usually you can pick an owner, the owner, the bot, and a random admin. You can be like, hi, at username. Welcome to my fish-related server. Save. So that should show up like this. Next, this one doesn't count as one, obviously. So let's see. We can do resources, check out our resources. And then member visits the channel. Oh, there we go. So good. We meet all the requirements. We can preview this, and then we'll see. Let's customize your experience. Obviously, I already have the role. I don't need to click the thing, and I can do chat. As you can see, this is the welcome message. Show us a fish you have, and then they get access to all the channels. This will be fixed in a second, because I didn't get a role. There we go. So we're gonna go back to onboarding. We enable it, then boom. Now every time a member joins, they'll go through that, be forced to pick the role, and then gain access to every single channel. which is exactly what you need it for. I'm just checking one small thing, the questions. Click here to join. Oh, just remove that because there's no multiple answers. And that's going to be the first part of this video. Just the settings, everything else. Let's actually double check if we're missing anything. Nope, doesn't look like it. Everything is fine. Now we could, this is a new thing. I'm not sure if every single server has access to this yet, like this part and engagement, this part as well. These are very new things. I'm not sure if this has been implemented in every single server, but if you do have access, you can press this and then add all the rules. So before they join, they have to agree to these rules, which is a great thing actually. So we can be like, be civil, add a rule, don't harass anyone, etc. And then if we preview this, they need to actually accept this and then submit and verify their email, since this is one of our security measures. And then they submit, and then they can join. We'll just reset that. Or you can have it as an application. If you're making a very private server, you can have it as an apply to join, where they send questions, or just discoverable, which you need these to be enabled. So you need 1,000 members, you need to have an 8-week-old server, you need to see the server activity metrics, no bad words, which they check, so your server name, description, the channels, and then this is very important again. But for now, we'll just keep it invite only, and we don't need to enable this ourselves. But if you do want to, just put in the rules you want. This is the first part of the video. And now we can start with the bots, the things that will make your server run as smooth as possible without having too many people on your staff team, because otherwise you need at least 30. So we're going to start off by adding ticket tool. So you go to tickettool.xyz, you log in, you press on dashboard, should be the same button here once you log in, and then you can invite the bot to your server. Now this is basically going to be a private chatting system within your server between users and staff members. So if someone wants to, I don't know, ask a staff member a question, report a user, etc., this is how you would do it. So you invite the bot, press continue to Discord, you add it to your server. This is very normal. It asks for the permissions it needs. We authorize human, we do the captcha, and then boom, ticket tool has been authorized and added to fish. So you go here, you should see ticket tool. Now a great thing we should do is go here and move this to the top. Actually, not to the top, right before the admins. This is so your moderators can't ban or kick or do any of the sorts to your bots, and obviously admins should always be the most trusted members. So we're going to go here, I'm going to sync, and it should show that we can manage. So first things first is we have to create a panel, which basically I'm going to hold all the information. Contact a staff member. We'll just name it that, for example. Save. And here's where the bread and butter will happen. We're going to go to general. We're going to add our support members or support team roles, which is going to be not tickettool, admin and the moderator. We're going to go back, category. This is where the tickets will be opened. If you don't set anything here, the tickets will be opening on the top of the server, which if you have a lot of tickets open, it's going to look very, very bad. So we're going to do a new category where it's going to be tickets, for example. We make it private, we add ticket tool, we add the moderators, and then we press this little button right here. So it syncs the changes we've made. Since we just made this category, it will not detect it here unless we press this button. So now we can press on tickets and then tickets. You can set the same channel to be the closed, or you can make a tickets open and tickets closed channel. So once you close a ticket, it will move from category 1 to category 2. We go back, ticket options. Now here you can edit the ticket message. For example, you can change the message itself like this one, or you can add a ping to all staff members. So for example, if I want the moderators to be pinged, once every ticket is open, we can copy the role ID, which if you want this to show up, you need to go to your settings and enable developer mode in advanced options. We can copy the user ID and do a little bit of this. So this right here is the identifier. It's the identifier to be able to ping mods. In Discord, there's a few different versions of this. If you want to ping a specific user with their user ID, you do this symbol, at, and then this symbol without the ampersand. If you want to do roles, you add the ampersand. And if you want to do channels, you remove these and then put the hashtag, if I remember correctly. So we're gonna save that. Now, every time a new ticket is opened in this category, the mods will be pinged. Everyone with this role will have a ping. We do want to make sure, however, that ticket tool is able to ping, mention at everyone, at here in all roles. Because since our moderator role is not pingable by everyone, ticket tool will need this permission to be able to ping it and actually send out a ping, because otherwise it would just look like a normal message. They wouldn't be a ping. This right here, allow anyone to mention this role. Members with the mention at everyone, at here in all roles permission will always be able to ping this role. So that's why we gave this permission to ticket tool. So we don't have to make moderator pingable so people can abuse and spam it, and so ticket tool can actually ping them. So we go back. You can edit the close message if you want, but we'll just keep it the same. We'll go to permissions. Support team permissions is going to be able to embed links, attach files, not manage messages, and I'll tell you why in a second. Read message history, just in case. Use application commands. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to save. We go to ticket owner, which is basically the user who opened the ticket. We're going to give them embed, attach files as well, just in case they want to report anyone and send in files. Read message history, and that's all they need. We're going to go back. These ones you can keep the same, unless you have an additional role which you want to have different permissions. We didn't set an additional role because personally we don't really think it's that necessary with the way we set up servers. So we don't have an additional role, but if you did set an additional role, you can edit the permissions here. Don't edit the closed because that's usually just not necessary. We're going to go to buttons. Here you can change the name, the button text, the emoji used, the color, stuff like that. If you want to make buttons only accessible to support members, you can enable this. We usually don't suggest you do that to the create ticket button because that just makes it closed for everyone except staff members. But for example, if you have an issue where someone is opening and closing tickets really quickly, you can just set this to support team only. So only the staff members can close the tickets once they're fully done. So we'll just do that. These ones you can look through, edit yourself if you want. We did the buttons, messages. Here you can edit all the messages you have access to. The grayed out ones will be the ones that are premium since we are free subscription right now. So we won't edit any of these. The panel, if you want to have if you've ever been on Discord in a Discord server where they have a ticket bot that has multiple buttons, the way you would do this is you would create multiple panels and then add them here. But we don't need that right now. Command style, no. Drop down style, no. Forums, we do suggest to enable. So we're going to enable the forum, auto display the results in the ticket message. And then we're going to have, for example, why are you creating the server, multi-line, and then save. Now this is going to be where when they click the ticket, create ticket button, there's going to be a forum that shows up before it gets created, where you can ask specific questions. Like, for example, why are you creating the ticket? Or if you have multiple buttons, just like I explained before, and one of them is like, oh, report a user, you can have like, oh, which user are you reporting? And then you add another question. Why are you reporting them? Another question, what's their user ID or username? Stuff like that. And this basically helps you eradicate, number one, the people who want to spam, because it takes a lot longer to spam if you just want to answer this every single time. And you save on time in case if it's an actual user that wants to open a ticket for a legitimate reason. Like, for example, reporting a user. Instead of them opening a ticket and then saying, oh, I want to report a user, and then you go through the checklist, you can just make this. Once the ticket is open, you can have this where it will auto display the answers in the ticket message itself. So once it opens, you read the ticket message, you see everything they want, and then you answer and continue accordingly. It's an amazing feature. Now for these two, transcript, we're going to have to go back to our server. We're going to add another channel called ticket transcripts. Make it, we don't have to make it private since it follows the category. We're gonna edit the permissions, and we're going to remove the ability to manage messages. So in this way, your staff team can see the transcripts, but they can't delete them. Now, there's no reason for them to have managed messages in transcript or log channels. The only thing that gives them is the ability to remove any evidence, which you would not want. So we're gonna disable that. And we're not gonna disable it on per category, because if you remember, the tickets will be opened here as well. So if you do want to do a whole category thing, you can just make another category called staff logs, and then throw everything that's log wise into the category. And we're going to make another one called ticket logs. I have to make it private. And then we're going to do the exact same thing. We personally like this system because everything is right under where it's supposed to be. In case you want to have to go back and check something, it's right there. So we're going to sync again because we just made those channels and the dashboard can't detect them yet. We can go to ticket transcripts right here. And you can also store the transcripts on a Google Drive if you'd like. We're going to go back, go to logging. We're going to select the log channel, and then we're going to enable all of them. Now you can choose whatever you want, right? Again, this is completely optional. However you want to set it up, you can set it up. We are just going through our go-to setup. We like to have all of them enabled just so we don't miss out on any piece of information. Go back. The limits is basically someone can have only one ticket open, and then for all users you can have 500. So the max amount of tickets you can have opened are 500, but the max ticket per user is 1. So yeah, and that's basically going to be the end of the setup for Ticket Tool. The last thing you have to do is just send it. So we suggest you go back. For example, we can make another channel here, contact the staff, create it, and then we can sync again, send. We can send it to contact the staff, send it here. It's sent. Boom. Now, if we create a ticket, will give me this. And again, if you have multiple questions, I'll have all the questions here. We'll just say blah, we submit. Opens the ticket. It pings the moderator role. It pings the user who opened the ticket. Boom. You want to close? We close it. Yes. Now the person who opened a ticket wouldn't be able to see the text here because they lose access to the ticket. We can save the transcript of the ticket. Boom. And then we can reopen it in case we have to, or we can just delete. And everything here gets saved. It will delete in a few seconds, and then boom, tells us everything, which is great. Now we have a direct way to contact the staff team. If I'm a user, we have a direct way to contact the staff team privately and straightforward. Amazing. That's the first part we're going to add. Now the next spot will be Sapphire. So Sapphire is an amazing bot. It's a multi-tool. Basically, it has multiple things. It's not just like Ticket Tool where it just does tickets. It does multiple things. So you go to saf.xyz. You log in. Same thing. We add it to the server. It'll take us to this. Which business? Yes. Are you human? Yes, I am. We wait a few seconds, and then boom. Now we should have Sapphire as well. So first things first, we're going to do some logs. So we're going to go here, staff category, Sapphire logs, do that, edit the channel. Now we're going to be fixing the structure of the channels in a second. Right now we're just going to be creating everything. So fix the permissions later. We can go to, actually we need to sync first because we just created a channel. We go to logging. And then here are all the logs you can set. Usually for us, we set a channel for every single type of log. But if you like to have a very structured, organized log system, you can set a log per whatever you want here. So if you want like all the user stuff in one channel, all the voice stuff in one channel, etc. You can make multiple channels and then set it to this type, but usually we just keep them all in one. Now, every new thing we do, like for example, text, delete, boom. It created the webhook, which is basically this thing that sends the message, and then deleted, and then showed us who sent the message ID, which channel, when it was created, and the actual message itself, which is great. It even does everything. So any single change in the server, for example, changing a channel permission, changing a role permission, creating channels, removing channels, everything, it will send it in here. So you'll have a log of everything. Next things up, we're gonna go to moderation. Here, we're not gonna set up, or actually we are gonna change a few things, but this is just mostly to explain to you. We have view cases. This right here, you can see every single action done to a user, and you can filter them by type, if they're open or closed, which means that if, for example, you have a mute, you muted someone for 3 hours, within those 3 hours of the mute, it will be an open case. After the 3 hours are done, and the person is unmuted, it becomes a closed case. So you can filter them out like this, and you can see them by ID, user, reason, author, duration, created. Absolutely amazing. So in case you like this system more, instead of going here and checking them out, you can see them here. Yeah. So we're gonna go now to punish settings. We're gonna edit every single one of these. For ban, we force a reason. For a kick, we also force a reason. For a mute, we force a reason. Warn, we force a reason. This is so your mods can't just go around banning people without a reason. They need to force one. They need to put one in the actual message, so you can have a saved log for it. So when you go back and check why this person was banned, there you go. You have it there. It was banned. He was banned because of this reason, which makes it much easier to catch moderators who are just using their power because they like it, and moderators who actually want to moderate and keep the server a safe community. So we can do that. Next things up, we're gonna go to privacy, and we're gonna remove this author right here. This is so your mods don't get targeted by your members. Sometimes, like if you're gonna warn and the author of the warn is visible, meaning that the moderator who warned the user is visible, and they get the DM and they can see, oh, for example, Siege warned me, then some members might start having a vendetta against that moderator. They start targeting them. They tell them, oh, they go to general chat. They're like, oh, why did you warn me? Why did this? And it causes unnecessary issues. So if you just have the person who warned as anonymous, they can then go open a ticket and it can be resolved privately outside of the eyes of the public, which is great. Now we can go to commands. We go to default commands, and we mass edit. We enable /commands or toggle /commands. This is going to take a while, unfortunately, but this is much better because /commands are much easier to use than prefix. You can have both, but /commands is much, much better. So we're going to start this, and we're going to wait for this to finish. After a long time, it's finally done. So now all the commands are /commands, and that's basically it. You don't have to add anything else. If you're a content creator and you want to add notifications to whenever you upload on YouTube or Twitch, you can do them here. We don't suggest having joined roles because you don't need them, since we have the onboarding reaction roles in case you want to add, I don't know, colors or something like that. I don't suggest you use them because we have the questions like this one in case you want to add roles to people here. Now we're going to go to welcome messages. If you want, you can use the built-in Discord one. If you remember, we went to, if I remember, engagement, and we turned these off. However, you can turn on, for example, send a random message and someone joins the server. But you can also do it like here, and you can customize the message. Discord has already built-in messages for them, but we can customize the message using Sapphire. So you can add a new message here. You can set the channel you want it to be in. We'll just say general. We're going to continue to styling. You can either set it as a direct message or server. If you want everyone to see it, server. If you want it to be just privately, direct message. And then we can style it here. You can add an embed. You can change this. And there's variables you can use, like for example, the user ID, user guild, guild name, guild ID, stuff like that. So go wild, customize it, test it out, change things, you know, and you can just add one here. I'm gonna reset, so I don't want to add it right now. And that's basically everything you can do with Sapphire. Obviously, there's a lot more you can do. If you want to test this bot out for everything it has, I suggest you go read the documentation for it. It's great. We'll have it linked in the description in case you want to go read the documentation. And obviously we'll have links to all the bots, Ticket Tool, Sapphire. And now we can check out Disco Hook. What is Disco Hook? It's basically a way to make your messages on Discord look better. And not all messages. I mean the important stuff like the rules, the resources. Instead of it looking like a just plain text like this, and you just have a wall of text with rules, you can make it look like this, where it's an embed with a color and then special formatting and all that cool stuff. So once you get into the Disco Hook website, it's gonna look like this. We're gonna clear all, so there's nothing here. And then we're gonna add an embed. We can say rules, and then we can have, like, for example, rule 1, be nice. And then rule 2, don't scam, for example. And we can change the color to something like this, and then or red doesn't fit, we'll just do this. And you can add fields to make it more organized. You can add an image, you can add a footer with the date, all that type of stuff. So again, we suggest you go test it out, experiment, see some examples on Discord. Of course, don't copy, but you know, make it your own. Once you're done, how do you send it? Well, there's something called a webhook URL, which you send it with. It's, if you remember, the same thing as Sapphire made here. So how would you create a webhook? If you want to create a webhook, you can go to the channel where you want to send the embed message in. So for example, we want to send it in rules. We go to the gear icon, we edit the channel, we go to integrations, and then we create a webhook. Boom, we created a webhook. Now, we'll change the name for something like rules, and then you can add a special image if you want, save, and then we can copy the webhook URL and then paste it here. Now, the reason why this started looking like a password when I clicked off of it is because webhook URLs are very, very dangerous to give out. These things should not be given out to anyone, not your staff team, not members. And the reason behind that is if someone has a webhook URL, even if they're not a staff member, they can still use this webhook. So if this webhook, for example, got leaked in my server, of course, I'll be deleting this webhook after I'm done with the video. But if this webhook got leaked out into my server, someone can come into Disco Hook, put it in here, and start sending random messages in my rules, like slurs, swear words, disgusting images, stuff like that. So this should not be given out to anyone, not a single person. And once you put the webhook URL here, you can send the message and it'll show up here. So instead of it looking like this, where it's just a wall of text, you can have it look like this, which is very nice. Now, obviously it looks small, like it's very narrow, not wide, because there's barely any text. If we add more text here like this, obviously you can see how wide it can look. And, you know, again, experiment. But some people maybe don't care about having a custom profile picture and a username for your rules and making it look cool. Maybe you don't want to risk someone getting the webhook URL and messing with your server. Well, here's where Sapphire comes in. If you don't want to use Disco Hook and have this cool looking profile picture with the names and making it look very on brand and stuff like that, and you don't care about that at all, you can go into messages on Sapphire and you can do templates. So for example, I can name it rules embed, add it, and now you've created a template, you can edit it yourself. So just like the welcome message, you can add an embed and then write your rules here, like rule 1, rule 2, rule 3. And once you're done, you can send it, don't put webhook, you can send it in one of your channels. So let's save the changes, for example, send it to welcome rules, boom, there we go, works perfectly fine. The only difference is that this one, it's not a bot, it says app, but that's because it's a webhook. It's not a bot, you can customize it, and this one is just the actual bot itself sending it. So it is completely up to you, it's optional. If you don't want to risk having a webhook like this, you can have just a bot sending it itself. And you can edit it in case you don't want to continuously over and over and over again send it. You can add embeds, action rows, stuff like that. You can preview the message to see how it looks like. Right now it doesn't look like anything because I didn't add anything. But yeah. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the best way to make a server. Professionally made, permissions organized, everything else in between. Just a few tips before this video ends. We suggest keeping the categories very organized. So for example, don't have too many channels in one category. If you have a lot of channels, it's going to look very bad. And from my personal experience, not just as a server member, but also a community manager for a lot of communities, when I go into a server and I see hundreds and hundreds of channels just stacked on top of each other, that overwhelms me and overwhelms other users. Some people just don't like that, so they just leave. So we suggest this type of stuff, make it good. Obviously, you can add your staff channels like staff bot commands so they can run commands privately, staff discussion, staff general, stuff like that. And that's a very big tip. A lot of servers don't know how to do that. A lot of servers don't think it's necessary, but if you want to have a very successful Discord server, we suggest you do that. Another thing, I only showed you the normal text channels. You don't have to do that. For example, since we enabled community, you can have a stage channel where you can host events. You can have an announcement channel. So this announcements, can actually be an announcement channel. Save it. Boom, now it's an announcement channel. What changed? The thing that changed is that users can follow what you post here to their personal servers. So for example, if you're a content creator, you can make an announcement channel like this, and like the channel is for whenever you go live. You can have something like this: I'm going live. And then you can publish. And when you publish this message, it will be sent to every single following server in their channel that they chose. So boom, now this is published. You can't publish this anymore. And boom, now it's sent to everyone. You can have a forum channel where it's basically the Reddit in Discord. You have people posting things, you can have tags for things, etc. Basically, your media channel can be a forum if you want, stuff like that. The last final tip I'll provide to you guys is make a private server with just you in it, where you can test these things out. It's something I implemented in my community management career a long time ago, and it's helped me not just understand new features, but know how to implement them in my own servers to fit the perfect situation. So for example, the forum channels I used for art channels, where people can post their art, because it makes it much easier to look at, much easier to filter out, much easier to find, stuff like that. So that's a very big tip I also recommend you guys implement in your life if you're looking to manage the server yourself. And if you have any questions, you can comment down below, or you can join our server, Unity Expert. We'll have a link to it down below as well, and ask us any questions. We provide Discord services, and basically we can build your server, we can manage it for you, stuff like that. So if you're interested, go down below in the server, join the server, and open a ticket. Let us know what you want. And thank you for watching. This is our bread and butter. This is what we love to do. And hopefully we see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.